A breach in the multiverse has appeared in the MCU, and now people are looking back at old reports, rumors, and what the newest addition to the MCU in form of Evan Peters' Quicksilver means for some of the other actors who still have contracts. So let's get to that. So when it comes to contracts, they're important, right? When you sign a contract, you have a mutual agreement, and if one party breaks that agreement, things go, they go pretty terrible for whoever decided to break the agreement. Now, in case of something happening that might pull the contract into question, you have to look at every other factor that comes in. So let's say, for example, you get a new job and it's a 5-year contract. During that 5-year contract, halfway into it, another company ends up acquiring the people that own your contract. That contract is still in play, but depending on the legality, what it says in the original contract in regards to acquisitions and things that might change the course of the company, there might be a way out or there might not be. Which brings us to Quicksilver, which brings us to Evan Peters, which brings us to WandaVision, and what is happening with the Fox side of contracts, because again, that's now all being brought back into question due to Evan Peters appearing as Quicksilver. And again, if you guys want all of our thoughts on that, up for CBC community members is our audio commentary of episode 5, where we go into a ton of theories and speculation and how this might play out. But the thing that you have to remember here is a contract, depending on the actor, the agreement they made, and what happens with it, is up to Disney. And do they have to honor some of these contracts? And that's never explicitly been mentioned. We've had the actress who played Storm previously in the most recent trilogy talk about the fact that they don't have to recast, and she doesn't believe they're going to recast because she's Storm. Now, we don't know if they have to honor this contract within a few years, because if we look at the deal that Marvel had for their characters at other studios, Sony has to produce a Spider-Man film every certain amount of time. Fox had to produce X-Men films and Fantastic Four to hang on to the rights. So is there some sort of holding rights on the contracts that could expire, or does Disney outright need to honor them? That's what you have to look at here. And one would say probably not all of them, but maybe certain contracts do have to be honored, which again brings us to Evan Peters, because people are questioning whether he was brought back to honor another Quicksilver appearance so they could give him his payday, and there's no legal battle that has to happen between the two. And a lot of people are speculating that this is a factor, and if that is a factor, then you have to look at what does that mean for everything else, because Disney would technically then have to honor other contracts. So let's say, for example, Evan Peters had one contract, one more movie left. Well, they got him back for a certain amount of time that equates to that movie, and then his deal is done. Now, what happens to somebody else, like, for example, let's say hypothetically Michael Fassbender had another film contract. Do they need to honor his last appearance, or can they bring him back as another character, or do they have to use him as Magneto, and is that what the multiverse is going to serve as? Again, there's a lot of questions here, and you would assume that over the course of the next couple of weeks and months, we're going to learn more answers. And my assumption would be that some contracts do have to be honored because of their structure and due to the legality of the royalty. And many of you know that originally Tim Burton cast a Batman, and they never ended up using him. Guess what? The actor still gets royalties every single year, and he got his entire payday paid out when they decided not to use him. That would be the same case here for some of these actors. So let's say you find yourself in the same position and you get to make the call. Do we use Michael Fassbender as Magneto in some sort of multiverse, or do we pay him out his $15, $20, $25 million, whatever his last contractual appearance might have been, and then we also have to pay him royalties for the rest of his life because we didn't honor that contract? Which one would you rather use? I think you know the exact answer that most people are going to say.